there, happy Tuesday. If you're seeing this on Monday, that means that you have subscribed to my channel, so kudos to you. But for everybody, no matter how you found this, hello on whatever day of the week it is you're deciding to watch this. Today's topic is questions. Not necessarily the questions you have for me, although please give them to me. You make my job so much easier if I know what you want to hear about. So if you have any questions, please give them to me. But today I'm actually going to go over the 4 rules for asking questions. Why, Nancy? Why are there rules for asking questions? Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because here's why. Some people ask questions not because they want to be asking questions. Some people use questions as weapons. Some people use questions as a softening of the language. Some people use questions to be passive aggressive. Some people use questions. People use questions for all types of things that are not about genuine curiosity and wanting the answer to the question. This does so many things, people. Please hear me on this one. It causes confusion. It causes resentment. It prolongs the ability to be on the same page with someone when you're using them inauthentically. Can we please just be authentic with our questions and only ask them if one of these 4 things are true? If all of these 4 things are true, really. So the 4 rules before asking a question is, are you asking this question because you don't already know the answer to it? That's the first question to ask yourself before asking anybody else. The question is, do you already know the answer to it? And if the answer to that is yes, then you have to ask, why are you asking someone else? If you already have the information, why are you asking someone else a question to which you already have the answer? So noting that, what is that reason? There may or may not be a valid answer for that reason, but if it is, I just want to know what they know, or something like, well, you don't have to ask it in the form of a question, right? Let's really assess, is it truly new information you are looking to get? Number 2 is similar to that. Number 2 is, are you genuinely curious? Is this a genuine missing piece of information for you that you care about, that you're genuinely curious about? Sometimes we do ask questions about things that we're not genuinely curious about in the name of fostering connection. So yes, can you ask your kids about the latest video game that they're playing, not because you're curious about the game, but because it's a connection point? Mwah, that's totally fine. As long as you are able to sit there and listen to the answer with patience and interest and care, go ahead and ask this question that you're not genuinely curious about in the name of forming connection. But I'm having a really hard time coming up with another reason for asking a question that you're not genuinely curious to know the answer. So you don't know the answer to the question. You're genuinely curious what the answer to the question is. What is the next question is there really more than one right answer to this question in your eyes? So if it's not a yes or no question, if it's not, did you do this, of which you don't know the answer and you're genuinely curious about, is there more than one right answer? If they say anything other than yes, is that correct in your eyes, right? Is there a possible other reasoning or whatever, right? So like noting, is there more than one right answer? Or are you using this question to inform someone of what you want to be done is being done? Are you asking this question to pigeonhole someone into saying something that you want them to say, or catch them in a lie or something like that? Like, is there more than one right answer to this question? Again, yes and no questions, those closed-ended questions, sometimes okay, but we're talking about like in relation to each other. Like, is there more than one right answer? And then there's like a little subtext to that one, a little sub question is, if there are multiple answers to this question, are you giving them a multiple choice or not? And just kind of, this comes up a lot in parenting or in management, where if it is true, like here's the example in parenting. If what you really, really want the kid to do is to eat the 5 green beans you put on their plate, because that's the rule in the house, they're going to eat the vegetables, whatever, right? Like, if that's the goal, not saying that's great, I don't know, it's just popped in my head, right? You're not going to say to them, do you want to eat your green beans, if that's not a valid answer. If you will only accept yes as an answer, then don't ask the question. Now, if you are okay with them trading out those green beans for a different type of vegetable, if there's a deal in your house about that, then you'll want to give some options. Would you like to have the green beans on your plate? Or am I getting out the baby carrots or the cauliflower for you? You're not going to say, what vegetable do you want? Because if they pick tomatoes and you don't have any in the house, then you're starting a whole thing. So if in fact there is more than one right answer, but not anything under the moon is the right answer, give the multiple choice. Give them the options that are acceptable to you. So you won't ask, hey, what else do you want on your plate? Because they're going to say ice cream. So if you be specific, is it the vegetable thing? So I guess the other, that fourth question really is about, like, are you being specific enough in your question to get a valid answer that you're looking for? So again, before asking the questions, and this isn't just in parenting or just in management, this is in relationships. How are you using your questions? Are you using them as weapons? Are you using them as a way to be passive aggressive? Are you using them to hope that someone's reading into them in some way? Or are you being crystal clear that either you don't know the answer, you are genuinely curious, and there is more than one right answer? Because if there's not more than one right answer, don't ask the question, make the statement. Please eat your green beans. Okay? So give it to me, man. If I had $1 for every time there has been mass confusion, frustration, needing to mind read, aggravation with other people, beginnings of arguments, so much turmoil comes from asking questions or putting things in the form of a question that are really supposed to be statements or requests or something else. So please start to assess yourself. Before you change that period into a question mark, make sure it's a valid question, to not just open up the door for confusion, frustration, or any of that kind of stuff. As always, let me know what you think and what you want me to talk about next. I will see you next week. Bye.